Go live. Well, welcome back, guys. How's it going? It's going good, apparently, because we got a super chat already. How you doing, Samuel?
Yeah, it's funny because here we are in the pre-show lobby, and then our screen flashes the super chat because that's part of the announcement system. So we knew even before we even checked the system. So yes, that's nice. Thank you in advance. And I don't know about you, Stuart, but I kind of feel like this is a precipice night because tomorrow we learn things. It feels like maybe they set up stuff because I know people keep teasing lots of stuff, but several people have teased it is coming or something of the ilk, and it's like, but okay. Okay, so something may or may not happen. Yeah, that's how I feel right now,
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll get some good reveals this one.
Every week we are getting reveals, but extra this time, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I'm excited for whatever it is because so far it's been fantastic. So,
and you have Mandalorian, I believe. Do you want to pimp that out?
I do. Yeah, first episode of Mandalorian season 3 is out today. I will be doing a live first reaction tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So tune in for that if you're a Mandalorian fan. We're going to discuss it. It's a great episode. It's fun.
Yeah, I have not had time to see it. Not that I want to preempt your first reaction.
I'm reading this carefully. Eh?
Yeah. Did it give you what you felt like you needed, or a surprise?
Both. How's that? It definitely filled it scratched the Mandalorian itch.
Good.
And it did give a bit of a surprise. So it kind of did both things.
Qui-Gon's back.
Well, Jar Jar, but yeah.
I mean, if you can bring Luke back successfully, Jar Jar should be much easier. God, what a giant situation if David Filoni said, we're going to try Jar Jar again. We can save Jar Jar.
He's the key to this, don't you know?
Yes.
You got to make that relevant again.
I mean, he's old now, Jar Jar. Add 25 years. He's seasoned. He's a professional. He's a Unabongo pilot, obviously. Sorry, you know all this because it's in the episode, obviously, Stuart. Sorry, I don't know I'm telling you.
Right? Ads. I just had nothing for that. There we go.
Because of course this
anyway,
is Wars
back
Yards.
to our loving people that super chat in. Sergeant Montgomery throws in $2 and says, "I'll take an Enterprise G in Constitution 3 flavor."
It's too small. It's very weak, guys.
The Enterprises have to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's just,
or at least more complicated. Like they've got to represent the next gen. This is definitely not the next gen. Even so much as the nacelles are literally off the other ship.
Even though it's literally the first episode it's in, it's called The Next Generation, and it features the Next Generation cast all getting back together. This is so much not the next gen as far as ship goes. Wow.
Yes. All right, I'm going to start sharing. I'll see you in a minute.
Okay, you do that. All right, so 53 of you here. 42 likes, guys. Hit that like button. Let's get up to 50. Super chats are very welcome. We're going to be talking about ship design. We got some really cool ships in this season so far. Some really neat designs, cool things to look at. We're going to talk about the design process, how much it feels like Star Trek again, getting back to old classic style designs. And we're just going to talk ships today. It's kind of like what we love to do. So please put in your 2 cents worth super chat wise. We'd really appreciate that. And obviously hit that like button or join the channel where you can become a member of the fleet. The fleet has been upgraded again because Casual Trekker, I believe it's Casual Trekker. Let me just take a quick look here. Yeah, Casual Trekker upgraded his captaincy to Admiralcy, which means he gets a hero ship, which means his ship has been reassigned, which means there's no longer USS Da Vinci. So all the Da Vinci crew members, you've been shifted to another ship, and Captain Casual Trekker or Admiral Casual Trekker now has a hero ship, which is part of the animation sequence, which we'll play as soon as Samuel gets back, I think, so you guys can see it if it's been upgraded. I think it's been updated already. So anyway, yes, click the join button, see what kind of rank you want to join at, and where you can fit in the Trekyards fleet. We want to welcome you guys to the fleet and have you guys really have something to look forward to at the end of every episode. So by all means, click that join button, see what the options are, or head on over to Patreon/Trekyards. That is another monthly way to support us here. And the same tiers apply over there, so you get a ship as well. And no matter what your rank is, you will be assigned on a ship. So definitely check that out. Also, of course, as always, the links down below to the Teespring and the TeePublic stores. Lots of great stuff there as well. So lots of ways to help us out. Speaking of, do you have the new animations for the new ships yet? With Admiral Casual Trekker's upgrade.
I just have the one from last week with the two new ships. I think okay. Nothing new.
Oh, because it's been updated on the Discord. The Da Vinci's no longer in the animation because it got mothballed for now.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Because Admiral Casual Trekker has upgraded to Admiral, so we got a hero ship. Anyway.
Oh, okay. There's a new one. Look, maybe. Is that a new one?
I don't know. Take a look and see.
Because Brett uses not my month structure, so it confused me every time because that's not how I see dates. So it's kind of like hard to read. No, it's the same one, so I haven't seen a new one. Nope, haven't got a new one. It's not there.
It's not out yet, but it has been updated in the Discord. So
not in the link where it should be. Because the last one is the last one with the Da Vinci still in it. So post the link so I can see it. But yes, ships, Stuart. We have a slight bit of expertise in this. Fair to say. And we are going to talk about seasons 2 and 3 because in reality it's the same team, roughly in the same amount, the same span of time who continued. So we're going to look at all the stuff, and we have been blessed this last 7 days to have Dave, Doug, and John Eves throw concept art out there. So we're going to be able to look at multiple clean iterative views of the ships. We teased it yesterday with the brand new Shrike stuff that came out very right before we went live. And we'll do some nice let's just dissect, look, analyze, unlike Discovery where the ships weren't noticeable until we got the Eagle Moss or Stowe. Dave and the team just sharing his renders. So, oh, right, good.
Yeah,
thank you. It's nice.
Yeah, the sharing stuff on Twitter is definitely helpful and very appreciated. So hope they keep that up.
This might just be the beginning. We really don't know.
Yes, and I'm sure there will be more ships during the course of season 3 here. We are just talking about the ones we've seen so far, and we've got a lot to talk about with those, so that's why we're doing this live. We'll do another one near the end of the season, obviously.
Yes, indeed.
Talk about all the goodness, all the sexiness that is Starship porn.
Yep. So the ships that we're going to talk about today that I've got stuff for is, of course, the Stargazer from last season, because, now we've had 2 hero ships, the Titan A, of course, the Space Dock, the Excelsior 2, the Sutherland, the Gagarin, the Zhenhe refit, the Shrike concept and final, the Shrike alternate concept by a different artist, the Ilios final and concept, and the Shuttle. So big, broad spectrum of things. And was not at all relying on shots in the show, because they're only so bright, and we can do better than that, etc. So first on my lineup is the Stargazer, because now we've got a bit of retrospective vibes. Now we are, we barely knew her, as it were. But, take a fresh look, Stuart. How do you feel now, having had a season? I will start a poll as well when you're ready to get talking.
The Stargazer we're looking at?
That's one of this era.
Yeah. Okay. When I first saw this, I did like it. I do like the design of it. I wasn't a fan of the nacelles, if I recall, originally. They have since grown on me. So I do like the new era of ship design as far as this goes. I know a lot of season 2 stuff, new ship-wise, was actually STO stuff, which again, I don't mind. So yeah, just it's a great looking aesthetic, and it's kind of like a throwback design style almost. I don't know if all the ships in the fleet are going to have that throwback retro look. We know, of course, that the Constitution 3 does. But and is that a practical thing? Is that something that Starfleet did for a reason, or just because, hey, we're coming up on an important Frontier Day anniversary, let's go with some retro designs? I don't know the thought process behind that. Generally, there's some, form follows function kind of thing, but it almost seems like they've stepped away from that with some of these newer designs, like especially the Constitution Class 3 of the Titan.
Well, also, you'd think that if they were going Frontier Day, they'd be NX themed retro. That's the anniversary. Well, you wouldn't go back to the refit era, you'd go back to the original, you'd think. Which ironically,
maybe there's a smattering of a lot of different eras depending on the ship class. Maybe there is an NX styled one, which is like a smaller class of ship or something.
I know it's not the Helios, that's like 50 years old. I mean, I've included it in the poll because we've just got it, but that's not technically a new design, although some elements are new, and cells mostly, etc. But yeah, this one's, super interesting because comparing how hyper new this feels versus how hyper old the Titan feels, it's a fun parallel development, because they would have both had to have been similar. Well, they say in Stargazer it's new. They say in Titan it's, well, we know from the logs it's newish. 5 years isn't new, but
yeah, newish is good way to describe it. I hate that they actually said, the writers said that it's built on with parts from the original Stargazer. It's like, no, it wasn't. Stop. That's just a thing that writers are trying to link in. I think it's a lazy thing that they're doing to explain refit.
Well, it works better for the Titan A because the Riker's Titan is contemporary. It was in service until the last minute.
You get the confusion because of this, saying that this has original Stargazer parts, that everybody's like confused about the new Titans, thinking that it has Savix parts from 130 years ago, and it's like, no, it clearly doesn't. And it's the same as far as ship design. It's exactly the same, pretty much 1-to-1, which is why a lot of people their minds go there.
Fair assumption if you're not into the ships, because even though you associate the Stargazer being a TMP era design, it's not. It was a fresh build, late era, which became older TNG era but still functioning. Savix was a very, very early TMP era, mothball, put in a museum, we would assume, given the legacy of the thing. Stargazer, I thought the Stargazer went to museum as well, so it feels odd they would,
Yeah, I think it was on its way there at the end of the TNG episode.
Yeah, it seems very odd. It certainly wasn't put back in service. That would be insanity. And I don't get why you would rip stuff out of a museum ship to antiquated stuff to put into a new ship. Yeah, you wouldn't. Yeah.
And Dan Ben says that looks different to what was on screen. It doesn't, though. It's just maybe the angle, you're not used to seeing it like that. I don't know. But
wait, yeah,
Stargazer.
Because these obviously dug concept models, which were changed a bit, but the geometry is very similar. And yeah, obviously it's lit brighter. But the fact is, these are clearer views of the design than what's in the show, which are lens flaring and such. And to note, this has a bridge window, or at least a bridge half window, not window. The Titan does not. It's actually a bridge without window.
Is Frontier Day just for the Federation? Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. So any Federation...
Federation?
That's what Dan is asking. Is Frontier Day just for Federation? Yes. It would be. Any Federation worlds would celebrate Frontier Day, I would imagine.
It is the founding of the Federation.
Exactly.
Don't understand the point. Like, Starfleet, sure, but of course it's Federation. What are you on about? Yes. But Stuart, the poll, though.
Oh no, we got a poll.
Saith the polleth.
Favorite ships of this new era: Titan A, Stargazer, Excelsior 2, or Helios? Go vote, guys. And hit the like button. Over 100 of you here, and only 64 likes. Not feeling the love.
And this is a ship show.
I know.
We want the double love.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because this ship also, I mean, the Titan to a certain extent, but when you haven't got the neck feel, it feels exceptionally flat. The saucer is so thin, right? And sleek, and even the back bit is sort of integrated so well. Even with a 4 nacelle design, it still feels very flat to me in this render. Because the E has levels, right? And the D is kind of a gentle curve up, and it has a certain depth. This is very, very no depth at all.
Yeah, I even consider the E quite flat from the side.
But I mean, more than this, because it's stepped and there's.
Yeah.
This is just flat saucer. Feels like a thing.
And I love how they just like, removes the bottom nacelles to make a different class of ship out
Yep.
of this. It's like, is that efficient or is that lazy? We're not quite sure.
Well, I mean, those nacelles had to go on the Titan, so.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
You can't get more kit bash than stealing your own nacelles. So here's an alternate view. I like how Doug's not even got the warp chillers on, the warp grills in the first place. But I like how finished the ship is. Like this, with a bit of polish, could be an Enterprise or Voyager. Certainly a Voyager. Good for him for making it relatively polished.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the view to change. So.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I mean, it almost feels like with that back section of the saucer, it almost feels like a next generation version of like the Miranda class.
Mm-hmm.
With that built up back section.
Clearly inspired, yeah.
Yeah. I would have made a few design changes here. Honestly, I'm not 100% sold on this design. But it has grown on me more than when I first saw it, so that's an awful angle, just for the record. I don't know, something about it just looks weird.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not lit to be shown. That's the irony. You know, every ship can look bad if you light it the wrong way. Not this is the wrong way. It's just not a flattering way.
You say every ship, but there are a few that lit anyway look great. At least one.
Okay, do you have an example? Because I can light it bad right now if you want.
Constitution class.
Okay, I'll go light it badly.
Oh, please do.
Okay.
I want to see this.
Okay.
It's going to be all in shadows. You can't see anything.
Okay, could do that.
Or the refit.
Pick one.
Okay, the Connie.
Okay. Gonna light it bad. But I'm not gonna light it bad like a dickhead. I'm gonna light it bad like I'm just lighting it bad. I'll go back to 2007 Samuel Siege ability somehow. I will channel. Well, we skipped another view, Stuart. This is with the underside with a lot of details that we didn't even see in the show. I'll let you comment on those while I make a render, apparently.
Well, as soon as that flips for me, I'll be able to talk about it. But yeah, that's the other thing too. You don't get a lot of dynamic shots of the ship, unfortunately, in season 2. Will this ship make an appearance in season 3? I don't know.
Like I say, the half hulls will. At least the half hulls. I mean, without the nacelles. Like you said, they'll be in it. So they might still say a Stargazer on the textures. Don't look too closely.
Actually, the bottom detail is pretty cool. I like the deflector and the attachment point for those bottom nacelles actually look pretty good.
I would agree.
And they've even maintained the eyebrows. Let's keep the eyebrows on there. Something they don't need to do in this era, in my opinion, because they didn't have it on the Enterprise D.
But they're on the E, though.
They are on the E, yes. But that was John doing a callback to the... Gotta love John.
And this is obviously an amalgam ship between John, Doug, and Star Trek Online Thomas Moroni. So is that actually a group effort? John's original sketches are a bit simpler. This is a bit more intricately formed. Which is odd because normally you associate ship by committee badly, but
depends on the size of the committee and who's on the committee.
Exactly. It was a good committee.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That's the thing.
Okay, finally got the Connie loaded up there. Words.
Oh, nice. Everybody keeps... Why isn't everybody mentioning the Titanic? Will Starfleet have a ship named the Titanic? I doubt it very much.
I mean, there's some things that break social norm. Call it Titanic. I mean, you have to kill the ship. Like that's just gonna. And then you're announcing.
Look at Futurama. There's a Titanic in that.
Yeah.
Ooh, and Trekyards is here. That is Bill Krause in the chat. So.
I mean, he couldn't resist. I'm guessing.
Designer of the Titan is here. Hello, Bill.
And
welcome.
Other ships appearing at some point, maybe, possibly. Who knows?
Mm.
Who knows? He might not even know. He does know.
We might know.
Who is we though?
Might not.
Because he's got
Trekyards.
such a lot of ships that he could be an entire fleet. Hence his Tycho fleet yards.
He's got some fantastic designs.
He does, and he keeps going. he just,
keeps going and going like the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, and you've met the man, so you have the knowledge.
Yes. And I can't wait to see what he's bringing to Wonderfest this year.
Oh God, yeah.
And if we have a Trekyards trophy, I've already talked about this. He can't win it again this year.
Oh.
He's already won it twice.
Oh.
Before he was working on Star Trek. So he's won both of our Trekyards trophies the 2 years we've had it. And now that he's on Star Trek, I don't think it's fair that he wins the best Star Trek ship at Wonderfest. Because I think that's cheating.
Yes, he has a slight advantage.
Yeah. But anyway, welcome, Bill, and everybody. Yeah, let's see if you can light a Connie bad. I'm interested to see this.
Because again, I'm not trying to be too annoying about it. I'm trying to do something that makes sort of sense.
Okay, that's fine.
I think I've got something.
I'm just a strong proponent that ship looks good from pretty much every angle. So I can't really imagine it being lit bad, but maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I doubt it, but maybe you are.
Well, it's rendering now. Let's see how that goes.
And Raj says the Chinese company is building a Titanic 2 Olympic class. Yes, there's been talk about Titanic 2 for years now. There's a bunch of different companies and millionaires that were going to build one, and some of them went halfway done. Some of them went nowhere. I don't know. I'll probably would never sail on it as much as I love the Titanic.
I mean, I feel like half the ship would be a modern cruise liner, half would be a replica of the original, so you could live both sides.
They'd have to do that.
And be such a... It would be such a attraction.
Yeah.
But then would they get... I assume they'd pay Leonardo DiCaprio and the lady, like...
Kate Winslet.
Yeah, like 10 million each. Like, please come and be on Titanic. Like, nope. We almost died once.
Do the promotional commercials and stuff. We're on board for that, sure.
Yeah. But not literally on board. We're not going on board for it.
Yeah, we're not going to go anywhere near that ship.
We'll CGI it. I feel like if you'd have to get James Cameron to announce it, he'd have to be like a very direct sort of marketing. Yeah, I support this Titanic.
Me and my daughter Cassie are both like Titanic nuts. Like I know like everything about Titanic before the movie came out even.
Oh wow!
And she's a big fan of the movie. So the movie just recently got released in theaters for its 25th anniversary or something.
Yep.
It was remastered in 4K and 3D and all that.
Oh right.
And she bought tickets, and me and Cassie went and watched it in theater. It was actually fantastic to see again. But there's a lot of screaming and yelling of Jack and Rose. It's Jack, 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 Rose, Rose.
Yeah, that
the
is
last
obnoxious.
half of the movie.
Yeah. And I will say, I also watched it in cinema when I was like 20. That was the first time it came out in 3D. That was an experience. It's very, very long though, even in cinema. It I think does drag a bit. But when it's like bold, it's really bold, and visually it held up wonderfully. All right, here's my concept bad lighting for a Connie.
Wow, it still looks beautiful.
Vote in the poll.
With the two light sources on it, that sensor dome looks like there's a tit on each side.
It's you remember Blackadder? It's the boob hat.
Yes.
But guys, vote in the chat right now. Is this a badly lit Connie?
It's badly lit, but it doesn't make the ship look bad at all.
Right.
That's the whole thing there.
Okay.
Does it make the ship look bad?
Is it kind of fun? I was able to get one half of the saucer so lit you can't see the windows, and the other side entirely black. How did I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that lighting was in TOS.
Well, I did think the purple was a very TOS color. Guys, this is good or bad lighting? Would you still buy that for $1? Yes.
I think it looks great still. It does not make the ship look bad at all.
Does it look CG or miniature? I think it almost looks more like a miniature now, like just a badly lit miniature.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it does look more flat.
Still looks great. Yes.
Now,
yes, what? Yes, it looks good, or yes, it looks bad?
Well, is that a testament to Star Trek Picard that within 27 minutes we go back to the original and one of the best ships because it's more... I don't know what that says about Picard ships. We don't really do that either. Okay, let me do the exact reverse idea, okay?
Sure. That's a proper ship.
Yeah. God, what would... Okay, serious question. What would you have asked Matt Jeffries if you If you had like
Oh my God.
one question in a Q&A, what would you have asked him?
That's not an easy question.
No, it is not.
I have no idea. What do you think of the Federation class dreadnought? That's what I would say.
And do you think the Foley class is better? Yeah.
Speaking of the Foley class, it's funny because a few years ago, I was at Wonderfest. Bill Krause was there, and I said, "How would you redesign this in your style?" And he gave me a version of it that is quite impressive.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah, it's not much changed on it either. So
well,
I kind of like that. He put his stamp on it a few years ago.
Yeah, I say this all the time, but I quite enjoy the limited box of design where you've got to adhere to design principles. It's like if you train your economy, you can't remove a neck, you can't remove the two nacelles, you can't. There are things you obviously just can't do, and I quite like that freedom. Well, that it's the opposite, but I like that not freedom.
Yes, the confinement that you're constricted to these rules makes it easier yet harder to do things,
and it makes you have to be creative because there's nothing else you can be.
Exactly.
And also it's the small details, but also people then notice the small details. That's why I like we both like Deg's Connie 1.5, his update. Okay, here is my exact opposite. The Connie lit barely at all. Is it good, better, worst, etc.?
All right, I'll have to wait till it pops up on screen for me. But
oh wow, that's Jericho, cool.
141 viewers, 97 likes, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get to 100 likes. Only 3 more is what we need. Let's do it. Oh, that looks even better. It's like deep space look. I like it.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to light it bad. I was just trying to light it with just so little light in it. You see so much of the shape was my logic.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, you kind of lose where the struts are and the secondary hull and stuff. But it still doesn't look bad, in my opinion. I don't know.
But it's very much like if it was in the Voyager, the Void.
Yeah.
But it's around a beacon that's just every time it flashes it light. That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Maybe for a Trek short, so an entire black and it's a little blinky lights the ship. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Maybe dark.
Mark Lawrence.
Great's the right word. Yeah.
Mark Lawrence, $10. For exterior only, I'd vote for the Stargazer since it moves forward aesthetically. If interiors count, I go to Excelsior 2 since you can still see more inside than the others, even during a power loss. What are we talking about? Like, I don't know specifically what you're referring to, Mark. It's something we said, maybe. Talking about lighting at this point.
Speaking of lighting, here is Doug's extremely close up of the functional aft shuttle zone area, which has, let's be honest, more detail than most of the Stargazer put together. Which is interesting that this was given such the treatment, because there's warp thingy at the back and there's all these bays and there's a lot of stuff.
There is a lot of stuff.
I mean, almost too much, although it's neatly hidden in a zone. I appreciate it's like Voyager is sleek as hell, but some bits are blocky greeblies because they are specific functional sensor palettes. The Enterprise D could have everything inside, but to push beyond that, once again, we had to protrude and show external details, so we had to go outer again, but in only set ways. I like that. I think that's a nice...
This is very cool. I haven't even seen this before, so...
Yeah, Doug posted like all the internal small ones. Yeah. Stuff
we might never ever see on screen, too. Like, that's just cool. TXR Way throws in £5. Picard Season 3 is the first show that has me excited for live-action Trek since 2005. The Shrike is a good villain ship. Characters likable, and the music. Yeah, the music's great. Villain ship, yes. Have you seen the clip from the next episode?
Yes.
Because it shows the Shrike in a pretty good shot from behind and underneath. It's really cool. So
I mean, it again, we get to focus next week. Next week's tomorrow. We get to focus tomorrow. Wow. So definitely, you know, we get to see it and appreciate it. Yes.
There's a red thingy heading towards a green thingy. Yep.
Ah, you know, we built the NSEA protector for a fan film years ago, and it's never been used except for one teaser shot. And I keep waiting to do some cool shots for that, but I have yet been able to. So here's the full orthos and Doug's full briefing chart, which he does internally as a cheat sheet to help, you know, because in fairness, you know, VFX artists aren't necessarily going to know what everything is. Why would they? We are Trek fans. That's not a prerequisite, especially to be the lowly guy or gal in the trenches. It's nice if they are, but it's not a prerequisite, is it?
Well, it kind of shows sometimes, though.
Certainly. But, you know, you certainly can't just hire Trek fans to work in the CG department, because what if there's no Trek fan creature artist available? Do you just not put the creature in? And then the director says, well, but it's in pages 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. You know, what do you do, really?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I would be hiring just Trek people, honestly, but that's me. You have to have it pass a certain Trek questionnaire before you can be hired to work on the production. It's pretty simple.
I mean, I would think if you're going somewhat in that ilk, I would just say if you're being hired onto a Trek VFX team, you have a pre-made Trek VFX reel. This is what we're doing. This is Star Trek space effects. We're making the newer version of this, but we're not making Star Wars. You know, look at how these ships move in the last 50 years. This is the box we work in.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a full orthos. Side view, I think Stargazer is great. I think it's really sleek. It's not how it looks any other view. It's top and bottom look very, not bulky, just chunky, and the side is just really sleek. It's a very deceptive ship.
It is for sure, yeah. It doesn't look as skinny as I imagined it would either. Personally.
Yeah, it's a confusing ship.
And actually, the removal of the lower nacelles looks good both ways. Actually, I was going to say it looked better with the nacelles there, but
I mean, it's a bit front heavy. We've seen a clip in one of the trailers. It is a bit front heavy looking, but I mean, Miranda's. I mean, nothing to say. I don't know if the bottom nacelles are still further out in the final version, because I don't remember that being. I mean, how could you tell from the show, right? But look, they're actually not. They're actually different.
Yeah. Which I kind of like, actually.
Yeah.
Varies it up, especially from the top and bottom.
Yeah. But you
know,
know,
the front view unfortunately just has kind of gets. Oh.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I said, you know, I like super chats. Put your thoughts and comments in, guys. We've only had a couple in 30 minutes. Significantly past our below our minimum, 140 people. Put your thoughts, comments, and questions.
Yes, please super chat to support the channel and help us out. Just gonna say, from the front though, it looks so generic. It looks like an X-wing. It looks like the Baran. It looks like so many other designs. Even the Prometheus, somewhat. There's nothing unique about it from the front necessarily, except for those nacelles pushing out at a different length at the bottom, which is kind of a neat touch. So,
and that's 16th of January 2021. Goodness. And we are now in March 2023, so 2 years and 2 months ago. Goodness.
Yeah.
Long time. So, ships. Do you want to go for the Titan, the Stargazer, the Excelsior 2, one of the Stowe ships, the Shrike, the Helios, or the Shuttle ship? Which one are you to next?
Let's do the Shuttle. I haven't really looked at the Shuttle yet.
The Shuttle! Of course, the Savick. And this is Jorg's great collage of shots, which I saw. I was like, oh, there you go. Perfect. As a little piece of... from Season 2 anyway. Clearly, a Type 11 modern... I mean, there's not, it
yeah,
it does what it says in the tin. There it is.
Yeah, there's not much change really, is there? Well, a little bit of sleepiness. I like the markings on it, the darker and the dark and the light.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously know Type 11 really well. It's actually entirely different, but also feels the same. which is a great it's like the Stargazer or the Excelsior. It's like it is different, but actually, obviously the nacelles of the Stargazer, which does prove they can be miniaturized, because that's the same damn nacelles, obviously, which is a trope. It's a good trope of Trek, but when the thing has 2 sets of warp coils, it kind of feels odd to have. How can you miniaturize the warp coils to what, like 1.5 foot tall? What's that? Is that even useful for warp nacelles that small?
Well, we know that tech tends to miniaturize when it gets more advanced, so yeah.
That's just really, really, really small. Because I obviously we've looked at this, but I remember them seeing the front set of warp coils, which would have been enough. It seems odd to have the second set for a shuttle. But it's got fins at the back, because John likes to add them a la Enterprise B, just fins. And I know obviously the docking port, which normally for shuttles you have a door because it lands on a planet or a landing bay. Having a docking port makes it incredibly unuseful as a design, because you can only dock with things with a hatch that matches that. Obviously, it was built around the idea of we need it for this episode. That's why it's got one. But I guess it has to have a ramp at the hatch that will come out and go down. But it limits its ability so much. And, what if docking ports change over time? I don't know. It sort of pigeonholing it a bit.
Well, in Enterprise, we see like they dock with a bunch of different alien ships as well. They're kind of adaptable. Even in Orville, I think we see that they're kind of the way the gangway comes out can be modified. I don't know.
Well, that is true. Yeah, if it's an anti-chamber. I mean, obviously, if it's using force fields to create that obviously would work fine. But it feels odd to have such a built-for-purpose feeling exterior hatch. It feels like they just say, "Oh, well, we're going to use Discovery's logic,"
I never really thought about that. Now you're ruining the shuttle for me a bit.
Oh, it's fine.
Because,
yeah. It just would have been better probably if there was just a normal door-looking door and a force field emitter around it. That was maybe a circle. That's fine, but it just feels so much like a distinctive connect to the Helios. But what about all the rest of the time? Seems like an odd step back to being less overall.
And that's the universal docking port. Yes, fleet-wide, sure.
UDP.
But if you come around to an older ship, run into an older ship, you run into a alien ship. Like in Enterprise, they would always dock in the Enterprise to an alien ship on the side of the saucer. Like there's always like some kind of docking port attachment, which wouldn't be universal. That just wouldn't make sense for alien tech, right?
Basically, it just feels too specific a door, which I don't know why it does, but it does. Small thing. And I like having the giant hatch at the back.
I do too. The door that.
Yeah. But if this is a because they do say oddly there's no weapons on this thing, so I guess it's not a normal shuttle, because it's not got weapons. It can get from Earth to Stargazer in a day, so it's obviously very fast. I guess it's just not it's just designed to move people between ships and chateaus. It just seems odd to not have any phasers. Type 11 has phasers.
Matt Boardman, though, throws in $5.
Oh.
Universal docking ports are used even in today's navies. It would make sense what Starfleet would have the same tech. Yeah, absolutely. For anything Federation-based, fleet-wide, you'd have docking ports that you could dock to that specific thing. The ship, could the ship be... Does it have a side door on this shuttle? I don't even know.
I'd like to think it does, but I don't think it does.
It doesn't look like it does. How useful would this be on planet side? Yeah, you could open up the doors at the back and not have a ramp.
Yeah. It just feels oddly limiting for a shuttle.
It does a little bit, yeah, because most of the shuttles have side doors and then the back hatch.
So I'm trying to think of other shuttles. TOS had side door, which you just got off, you landed.
Yeah.
Runabout is a different beast. The Type 6, 7, 7A, all those things was a back door. The pods were side doors, but those weren't docking to anything. Has there been any ships with a designated docking port? I guess the Discovery Shuttle had as a designated docking port area, but that was never used to dock specifically to a docking port. It just seems odd that you would, yeah. Again, it just feels limiting for some reason versus just a all-purpose. Yeah, that's weird.
It is kind of weird.
Yeah.
See, another one like the shuttle pods. You could have a docking port on the ceiling and still have the ramp at the bottom. So if you do need to dock to something, you can make it.
Yeah.
But then you couldn't park it like this. This is just for a really cool visual to back it into the parking spot.
Because obviously that's
dock.
Obviously in the instruction they did that, and you can see the same detail on the shuttle, so it can do that as well. But it says how many situations are you going to launch a shuttle and dock it to a hero ship that you wouldn't put in the shuttle bay? To have it to be a specific detail that aren't any other shuttles. It's that important to dock it with a docking port? It just, yeah, feels like an odd thing.
Well, Josh makes a good point. He says, what about the long-range shuttle from the motion picture? Yeah, it only had like the docking ring at the back. There was no other doors on that, I don't think, either. So
that was clearly designed to go into the refit. I mean, that was designed for that scene, as this is as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Designed for... was in $2. Could be like the door on the travel pod in the motion picture. Well, it's exactly what it's like. But that's the point, though, we're trying to make, is that it seems uniquely specific.
Because that thing is beyond purpose-built.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, you know, whatever. But Burnsy says, no phasers equals plot convenience. Yeah, we didn't factor into the plot. They didn't get back to it. If it was fully armed, it would have... If anything, it should have been very well armed, and then be even more annoying that they didn't get to use it.
Yeah, it got blown up before they could use the weapons on board.
Yeah. But I do think it's a really nice update for a Type 11. It's actually more curvy than a Type 11, oddly, which is more sharp. So it kind of has a more integrated feel. Like this, I think, would almost work better between the Type 6 and 11. If you try and picture them between them, 6 is quite, TNG one's more curved. 11's quite sharp. This is nice in between. But yeah, John didn't really didn't move much out of the mold for this one. He just resketched Type 11 when he was drunk. The shapes were a bit off.
And Matt says this is definitely one of those where you'd like to get some additional images from the design guys. Yes, yeah,
yes, please. But space dock though, from one familiar to another. I mean, chef's kiss, as we keep saying, but it's just I like it. It's real nice. Ah, Caleb, I see you on my screen.
Caleb Horn throws in $5.
What's Caleb say?
Did really like the SS Ilios. Love the concept of miniature starships. Prefer this over Booker's Transformers ship. Oh, from Discovery. Yes. Actually, well, I kind of like his ship. It's kind of cool for a futuristic design. Quite unique in that regard. But yeah, the Ilios is fantastic as well.
We have several things to look at today for that when we get there.
Nice.
But yeah, space dock. Now, how does it fit? Now we're looking at them in comparison with each other. How does it feel as part of this contemporary fleet?
Bigger. It was bigger than the original one. Design-wise, it still maintains the look and feel of the original, while being unique and different all on its own, which is nice because it's actually the pods that are coming off of it feel more. I want to say feel more TOS in their design, their simplicity, but they are attached to the standard space dock, which we've known and loved from Star Trek 3. You know, it ties in some really good elements there.
And by the way, guys, can we please get 10 more votes to get 200 on our ship poll?
Ooh.
I would definitely like to know what you guys think on this. I'd like to, because, you know, there's obviously a clear winner, but is that a vote that might get higher? Sergeant Montgomery, no, very different shuttle. Very, very different shuttle. To Prodigy. 192. Come on, guys. 8 more votes. 160 of you here. I'm betting at least 30 of you haven't voted in the poll. 3-0. So, I mean, I think it should be able to get past 210. I think so, Stuart.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Same with the likes. We should probably be able to get to 150. Vad one new says the extra. Sci-fi science interest throws in £5, so thank you so much. The next series needs to be around Captain Morgan Bateson and his crew, either of the Bozeman A, or the USS Atlas. The Atlas, is that from like a book?
Is that where he went on after the Nick commanded Enterprise for a bit? Maybe.
Probably.
That rings a slight bell. A little bugging in my head.
It might be in the Ships of the Line. Is that the book where he gets the Enterprise E?
Yes.
Yeah.
He fights an old annoying Klingon. But Devereaux says, rumor from Giant Freaking Robot, a spin-off series featuring Raffi and Worf. Respond to that, Stuart.
I mean, I don't believe any of it. First of all, is this the Section 31 show we were promised? A Section 31 show starring Worf and Raffi? It sounds better than a Section 31 show starring Giorgio. I will say that. I'll believe it when I see it. Right now, I don't believe anything they say, first of all.
Yes.
So.
How often are Giant Freaking Robot wrong, Stuart?
Oh, like all the time.
Like almost.
Who reported this?
Them.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, it's their exclusive, Stuart.
Oh,
Which makes it even more untrustworthy.
Yeah.
They're the sort of group. Now, I used to like them, but they went way more clickbaity. They're the sort of group that if anyone can phone them in clearly and just tell them something, and then they're reporting it because someone told them, but they report on everything that's, for the most part, wrong. They just. But then you forget about rumors that don't happen, but they get views and clicks. So no, Stuart, did you hear that? I heard a rumor that you can quickly make stuff up.
Star Trek Worfy. That's great.
Yeah.
Turner and Hooch, the next generation. Oh my god.
I think that could be a good duo, honestly. Of all the ideas, I do want to see Michael Dorn's Worf. Although he did say in a recent interview that, he was so excited, then he started doing the makeup and he was less excited, and then he got less and less excited because he's like, well, shit. I forgot my job isn't just turning up in a uniform. It was 2 hours still, I believe, is what it now was. Which is still a significant amount of time every day. Before you even and being in your 70s, had to wake up even earlier to sit in a chair for 2 hours. You're not in your 30s anymore. Your 40s or 50s. Wait for a long time. Yes.
Well, generally, the older people get, the earlier they wake up. Old people usually up at 5 a.m. Look at the beautiful sunrise.
Busy Klingon.
Shut up, Granny.
Do it. Guys, one more vote in the poll. One more vote. And I will tweet this and I will tag Terry and Dave. Because they like the Titan. So 210 votes, guys. Come on, 210.
Ooh, yeah, get those votes up there so we can tag some people.
Yes.
And 8 more likes. I still want to get to 150 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button yet, please do so. And also, contribute to the conversation. We want to hear your thoughts on these new ship designs and our Starbase designs. What are your thoughts? Please super chat in. It supports the channel and helps us out immensely. Also gives us a boost, a shot in the arm to be like, yeah, we're doing good. So please let us know. And we do read those all on the air, so they are very important.
Exactly. But yeah,
what I just said.
But yeah, Space Talk, great, fantastic, good stuff. Hopefully we see way more of it. That's my hope. Now let's jump back to Excelsior 2, which of course was a last year's ship. Barely seen, so I'm assuming it's going to be in this season somewhere, because it's a more original design than a lot of the other stuff, as in it wasn't a John Eves concept from 15 years ago. It wasn't a Bill Krause design. It was actually designed by the team. It's actually new, right? It was only in 2 shots or 3 shots of the previous season, so it would be shocking if it doesn't appear.
Now, was it? Yeah, it was designed for the show too. It's not like it's an STO design.
Yeah, brand new. Yeah,
and it's great actually. I really like the design of the Excelsior 2. Need to see more of it. And I mean, I'm sure it'll be in background shots for Frontier Day and stuff.
I
But
hope so.
yeah,
Because it might not be. It actually might not be. Because you would think they would put it everywhere, given it's actually a truly original design.
yeah, I would love to see more of it. That could be a hero ship for a new series, and I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, for sure.
So
we've already seen several sovereigns. What the hell is this?
yeah, I almost kind of wish that this would have been the hero ship for season 3, Picard.
That would have been nice. Well,
Yeah.
I think people would have certainly said it's not original enough, but it's certainly era appropriate.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Sci-fi science interest says, and Trekyards is better than Trek culture. Aww.
Ah. We're all
Thank you.
different. They do lists, we do deep dive breakdowns on ship tech and universe. Bit different.
Mike Field says, no, it's not. It was designed for Star Trek Online. I
Nope.
don't think so.
This one wasn't. John designed it especially. Believe me, we're the ship guys. All the other ones were. This was actually a fresh. Because it was Raffi's ship and Elnor's ship. So therefore it was given the special treatment.
And Bill is here with the Tycho-Yard, and he says, agreed. Agreed on what? That the Excelsior 2 should have been the hero ship in season 3? I don't know about that. If you agree with that, let us know, Bill. What you're thinking. No, this is just a fantastic design. I wasn't a huge fan of the Excelsior, as you know, for a long time. Once I did get the Diamond Select one, though, did a review of it, and actually having it in hand, it's much like the Ambassador class for me. Once you hold it and get different angles of it, you appreciate it a bit more. So I do like the Excelsior a lot more now than I did a few years ago. But this one, the Excelsior 2 from the side looks just fantastic. It looks like a speeding bullet, just standing still, you know? It's got such a nice angles to it. The top is a little bit elongated for me. It looks a little bit too wonky. It seems like it's just going to warp all the time. It's got that stretch effect going on, whereas the side doesn't portray that so much. I really do like the design, though, overall, but the top is a little bit wonky for me. And also the way the struts are quite unique, because from the side they're doing the angle back, and then they change angle and go forward. So it looks like it's inconsistent, but it's not at all. It's just such a cool design choice that it's quite unique, actually. But no, this is a neat design.
It's one of those. It
see more of it.
Just works.
Yeah.
And I like a logical up design, and you can definitely see there's a lot of similarities in the saucer edge detail with the Stargazer, so it fits in directly.
Yeah.
And also Nuna cells, which is nice. I have got a separate review as well, I believe. Yeah, the underside, which is wonderfully Star Trek 6, clearly, but also a bit new. I mean, this one, the window scaling doesn't really work super well, because why even bother having windows in the saucer if the saucer is that absolutely insanely sharply tiny? Yeah. There's certainly a disproportion. So that's a deck. This thing is just giant. I mean, the E looks small in comparison, which I don't think it is, because the secondary hull does not. I mean, yes, there's a lot. They're tiny, but if the windows are to go by, then many decks have no windows at all, which is part of how you frame a ship. You can count the decks with the number of windows.
Yeah.
This entirely breaks that.
Mike Field says, actually, it was first seen in lower decks, right? No, that was the Albana
class.
Actually. No, that was the Albana class. That's a totally different class of ship.
Jeez.
We actually talked to Mike and the team about that.
And Mr. Albina.
The guy that's named after. Exactly. Yeah. I don't think that every interview, that part's came out yet, though. Or did it?
It was inside. It wasn't very long, I believe.
Okay.
That was a tiny thing. But yes.
But yeah, it's a totally different design than the Excelsior 2. So no, this was not seen in lower decks before it was seen here.
They didn't even know they talked. Which is fun. They both had entirely alternate, iterative new Excelsior variants on the mind.
Yes.
And they're both so different.
Yep.
It's great. But only one has a giant
Delta
badge Delta on the bottom. And what was Mike's reason for it? That the team fought him on?
put it this way: if he had his way, it would have been bigger.
Yeah.
He just always thought it would have looked cool to put a big delta on a saucer.
Yep. Because ships looking up know exactly who is visiting them, and then he realized it was very propagandy.
Yes.
Look, here's our logo. We're here in peace. Look at our typography. Deltas.
It was very Romulan. Like, look at it, as big bird gonna kill you. Yeah.
Boy, when we get showrunners, producers, and that was great. That was one of the best interviews we did because we had the entire team uncensored. That was great. Bring on season 4. Bring on 4.
4, yeah.
Jeez,
so, yeah.
lower decks, man.
Trent C throws in $5.
Thank you.
The new ships are great, but to be honest, I want to see if they show the Connie refit is more than just a computer readout saying it's there. I'm willing to bet money you'll see it, the actual ship in the docking ring of the museum. Would be my guess. Because we kind of do see it in the one shot from the trailer, but it's far in the distance. I can't believe they're just going to tease us with that and not actually have like a pan by of it. It just doesn't jive. So
yeah, and Stuart also, if you want to pimp, I'll show the video, the video I have for the channel memberships. What that means for the fleet.
Ooh,
this is the last video I have access to. Here is the video.
All right, so yeah, guys, join the fleet. Consider clicking on the join button. You get assigned to a ship in the Trekyards fleet, which also includes access to the Discord server, the official Trekyards fleet Discord, where you guys can hang out with your shipmates, see where you are on the ship roster, and hang out with people there, as well as us on the Discord. But you get to see your animation of the ship you're serving on, your name on the plaque, for at the end of every video, edited content, and it's fun. It gets shuffled up randomly, occasionally, and if you're a captain, you get a ship immediately. If you join an admiral, you get a hero ship, which means the Da Vinci, which was captained by Captain SVS Guru, no, Captain Casual Trekker. Casual Trekker upgraded to Admiral in the last live, which means got upgraded to a hero ship, which will be in a future animation. And so yeah, you can upgrade your ship, your membership to Admiral and get a hero ship. It's fun. It's a fun way to participate in the group. So,
and you guys voted it was a Pro Star. How cool is that?
Yes.
Yes.
So we got 237 votes on that poll.
Yes. Yep. Read out results, Stuart.
All right. So the winner, favorite ship of this new era, the Titan A, is the winner with 46%.
Mm-hmm.
Second place is the Stargazer at 25%.
Mm-hmm.
Excelsior 2 at 23%.
It's pretty good because we only had 7 seconds of screen time.
That's true. And the Ilios at 6%. To be fair, the Ilios is like 50 years old, so it's not part of the new design aesthetic. So, yeah. No.
Except it was designed to be a post-Nemesis ship, which they've now made a pre-TNG ship. We'll get to that.
There is that, yes.
There is that. But of course, one of the great things about Season 2, which I'm sure will be fully in Season 3, they incorporated some Star Trek Online designs by Hector Ortiz and Tos Murni, the wonderful team. And so this is one of the many ships that have been pulled, now picked by the team. So these are ones that reflect the Picard era design vision to some extent, and these are now fully canon ships. And these are also ones that made it into the Eagle Moss collection, so you can get a canon Picard ship if you already have one of these. But obviously these are designed by an entire different team at a different time with entirely different ideas. Now, what do you think now comparing it directly as we are now doing? The Gagarin itself.
The Gagarin. So what do I think of its design compared to the new design I set up?
Yeah, how does it fit? That is the question.
Very well. I think it fits very well design-wise, especially the nacelles. Color palette's a little bit, because it's Star Trek Online. They got such a dramatic color palette. So the color palette's way different, but the design overall is very similar. Like I said, especially those nacelle designs. I love that we're getting variations of those now, quite a bit. Almost every ship has its own kind of variation of nacelle type, to some degree. But yeah, I think it fits in beautifully. I don't know. I mean, I guess the new ships for Season 3 of Picard might have used design cues from Star Trek Online.
No.
I know Bill Krause didn't.
Yes.
And Johnny's just has a
thing.
style.
Yeah.
And he's got like 100 designs kind of stored up. So
I wouldn't say so,
Yeah.
Stuart. And
Wow.
of course, this one is the 25th century version of the ship that Lorca flew. So it was actually a Discovery design that was then modernized, which is why it's reminds you of that, or should do anyway.
So Lorca's Baran?
Mm-hmm. That's why I said Gagarin. I think there's meant to be a narrative name link there.
Yeah, the Baran was 4 nacelles, though, yeah?
Or the other one, there was 2. There was a 2 nacelle version.
Yes.
That one.
Well, there was a Discovery Gagarin class.
Well, there you go.
Or was the USS Gagarin? I don't think that was the class name, but yeah.
But no, I'm trying to say it's a Discovery future version.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But boy, this fixes everything about that one. Because this is great. Those aren't great.
Right.
Yeah. And then the bridge is real far back, but it works. Because that's very far back. It's cool though.
Uh-huh. A lot of the elements on the struts though look very similar to like the things you would see for like a aerodynamic fighter, like in an atmosphere. They almost look like wing details. I'm not that I'm complaining. I think that looks great.
Didn't think you was. Well, I'm seeing so few windows, just kind of the opposite to the Excelsior. There's almost none.
Well, do we have a size for this thing?
No.
No. It does seem like a smaller ship, though.
Yes.
Because those RCS thrusters are pretty big.
Oh, we do. 492 meters.
Okay.
So it's pretty big. It's 3 Elioses. Yeah, just over 3 Elioses.
Actually, I have one of these, one of the Star Trek Online ones with this.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
It's great. I like it a lot. But then you have now, let's relook at it now, the Inquiry, the new Genhei, which is in Picard Season 3. This is, of course, the the copy and paste fleet ship, infamous for its, oh, that's so embarrassing, is the Scorpion King of the Star Trek CG world. The embarrassment they could have fixed in post. And Tobias Richter, the famous CG man, he's the one that finished the design for Star Trek Online about 6 months later, actually adding all the stuff they could not add because of all the reasons. But he decided to maintain the same art style. Now, this is the Season 2 version, as you know, Stuart. The Season 3 version was re-updated and is significantly better. Do I have a render of that? Probably somewhere. Now, I'm only remembering they made it now, so let me see if I can find it.
All right. Well, this one is interesting. It's not a bad design. The top view, I think, is fantastic. Side view is kind of shit. Yes, it wasn't completed or looked very good in Picard Season 2 with the cut and paste.
Season 1.
Season 1, sorry, the end of Season 1. Yeah, there were some slight variations on the cell colors and things. I remember there's like 2 or 3 different kinds within the fleet. But the fastest, bestest of all the starships everywhere, Starfleet ship, just doesn't quite work for me. I also have this one from Eagle Moss, and it's actually a pretty impressive model. The detail that was put in by Tobias works, and it's a nice little ship. But the copy and paste fleets of like 150 of them warping in was just beyond stupid, and has kind of jaded a lot of people towards this design or against this design. It's not that bad, honestly. I just wish it wouldn't have been every ship in that fleet. And I don't know what changes were made for Picard Season 3, which is what Sam is looking for right now.
You know what's funny is that I did hear that in a version, a very early version of that sequence, they had other ships in the fleet.
Really?
These standing models. This thing wasn't built yet.
Well, people have redone that shot with like galaxies and sovereigns.
Yeah, I almost did, but always ran out of time. But yeah, I mean, this is infinitely better than Show 1 just by finishing off. Although I still hate the rim window detail because it's like, why is that the way you've done that? Now the big issue, of course, is the overall boxiness of a design that should be really sleek. So the team at season 3, and I'm proud of them, saying this is bad, let's make it better. So they took the Star Trek Online model, which itself was built from from scratch from the season 1 model. So it's a fan official man Tobias improved it. Then they took it and improved it, and they added a actual deflector dish, and they radically smoothed out the secondary hull, so it actually looked like a secondary hull. And that's how it looks with proper lighting. And that is how it actually appears in season 3 when you see it, which is not obviously very often.
Okay, well, the one in the middle on the left, that 3/4 view, I really like that. The rest of the views are kind of shit, especially the side view, honestly.
Well, it's still working with what they had. They couldn't change it too much, I guess.
I know. I'm just saying the overall design. I do appreciate the attention to detail that was put into this one, though, to make it feel more realistic.
So that's again Tobias.
Yes.
But the rendering's lovely, like properly rendered. The stone model obviously looks $1 million. But that deflector is 10 times better, 50 times better from just the grill slits that were just ridiculous.
Yep.
I don't know why it goes into a point at the bottom. I don't know why. That kind of is an antithetical shape, but it's sad though, because Eaglemoss obviously released their garbage version, and so it's been improved twice since, and now forever the garbage one is the one everyone has at home.
Yeah.
And several versions. In fact, this is infinitely better.
Do we know who designed this ship? Do you recall?
Well, the original.
Yeah.
Oh, it's John. I mean, yeah, he did a quick sketch. It's another Star Trek Online alternate.
Yeah, okay.
There's another John thing. They took it, he tweaked it a bit. They made it without, because he doesn't add details, so they just made it. It was one of the boxier ones. Again, what's in your pile? This. Okay, make it by Tuesday. It's Monday. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And this is obviously done by now 3 people in essence: John, Tobias, and then I can't remember I think Brian. I think Brian's the guy that redid it for Picard 2. So I hope we see it now. I don't think it's going to look tremendous in motion because it's so unelegant. But I think the top, the middle left picture has so many nice things to it.
Yes, 100% agree with that.
Like the saucers are unique shape, the nacelles are unique shape. The pontoons that aren't pontoons work well. I don't obviously buy the front lights that aren't windows clearly, but they're windows, but they're not windows. What is that in the cutout? That's nothing. And I guess I wish the back wasn't so sharp. It kind of goes against the front. The front is so curved. The pylons have been entirely redone, I think, and rethought.
Yeah, and Bill Barkley says, do these ships still have captain jots? Some ships have captain jots. Not all ships. Not all ship classes would have that. And in some cases, like the Nova, it's actually the Wave Runner. It's like a little fighter type ship. It's not actually a captain jot. So,
well, that's a generic term. Obviously, it's just the secondary craft.
Auxiliary craft. Yeah.
Yeah, because something like the Enterprise D captain's yacht. Like, what can he really do with it?
Nothing. It's for going down to the planet and hanging out, going to Risa.
I mean, it's barely a yacht, isn't it? It's basically just a captain's ready room with an impulse engine attached.
Well, the Enterprise D one looks like a UFO.
Yeah.
It's just a simple design. Yeah. George B puts in $5, so thank you so much. Only thing that has bothered me so far was the rando Ferengi mentioning Section 31, a secret organization. Problem is, though, it's like the CIA. Everybody's aware of it, so it gets mentioned. Section 31 should be secret.
But I'm fine with a black market guy knowing.
I am too.
Yeah. Like, if that was the first reference in 50 years, I'd be like, oh, I see you. I'm Nateri, I see you.
Yeah. Yeah. Any viewer can see those impulse engines as an improvement. People are liking the impulse engines on this thing. So
Fine, yeah. I mean, they're fine. They're good. They're okay. It really is. Take the saucer, just shove out the last third of the ship, the last fifth. The pylons are bad. The nacelles are okay. Shift that black back bit.
Gotta redesign it a little bit, yeah.
But significantly better than the other versions. So good job, team. It's not too late to put it on the Blu-ray.
You're so optimistic.
I know. Wow, that's high. I mean, they might do a season 1 to 3 Picard re-release as a box set. I mean, conventionally, you would say they would. So, I mean, if they really cared about it and wanted to throw, another 50,000 in, it'd be relatively painless to re-render that with. And given they've now
just
got
volunteer to do it so you can be part of it. Just volunteer to do it for free.
But the irony is they could now redo that scene with all the assets from the first 3 from the other season, so they could have the Titan Warp in and the Stargazer. They all exist. It can have a very diverse fleet. There could be 19 Helioses. That could be the copy and paste ship. Recolor it. There you go.
I would love them doing that.
Yeah.
You should have, at the beginning of the episode, you should have the choice of which version you want to see. The cut and paste fleet.
Yes.
The Sovereign Galaxy class fleet. The all whatever fleet.
The all sovereign fleet.
Yeah, you get like 15 different choices to pick before you start. Then you can watch each scene. You can watch that scene multiple times.
Yes. Pick your adventure. I mean, because they just use copy and paste modifiers, so they could absolutely do that again. Oh, I love that so much. That's really funny.
Yeah, watch the director's cut or
Which director? No, you're the director, Stuart. You direct. I want the Defiant cut. I want the TOS Connie cut. And so Riker's saying, it's the most powerful warship in the entire fleet. Cuts the outside, a 60s Connie. And it's like, Riker, you okay?
We need an ADR line added in there with a bad little lip.
It's the oldest ship of the fleet.
No, the newest, most powerful advanced ship of the fleet 150 years ago.
That's the reverse shot behind his shoulder.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And like you get I think her name is Tamara, the actress, to come back and just do different new lines like, "Are you serious? What? No." And just different reactions depending on which ship you pick. But wouldn't it be kind of funny though if they re-release season 1 with a brand new director's cut? The only difference is that scene's been redone. That's it. 0 minutes of new footage. Then they've replaced the old footage. It's like
win me over.
0 minutes. Yes. Anyway, so let's move on to the Shrike, Stuart, because that is the bearer of bad news in the coming 24 hours, of course. So John Eves has wonderfully shared his original approval sketch. So this is the thing that made it into the Shrike. Several others were giving suggestions to look at as well today, but this was John got it. John had it approved, and this is what we got to. What do you guys think of? And I'm going to ask you guys as well in the poll. With a poll, what do you think of the Shrike?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yesterday when we looked at this, my initial first thought when I see this is this looks like a Cylon Raider from the new BSG, or a variation of it. It's designed to look prickly and mean, and it fulfills that beautifully. There have been changes made between this one and the one we see on screen, obviously, which we talked about yesterday a bit. And this one doesn't seem like a lot of internal volume necessarily. The one that we got on screen now seems like it has more internal volume, and we don't know if this one has a pod underneath either, like the one on screen does. But I do like the green glow at the front there. Yeah, Batwing, exactly. Yeah, an Eaglemoss Shrike would be great for eating fries. There you go. Thank you, Eric, for your input. No, it's and again, people have made draw similarities between this and the Narada.
Although I think less in this iteration. This one vibes to me less Narada.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway. Just for me personally, I would say.
Yeah. But you're right. People are right. It does feel very Batwing. Like, it does feel like something you see in a new Batman movie for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you add a notable cockpit to the front instead of the multiple glows. It's a very sleek Batwing, and even because the Cylon Raider was a single pair of wings, if this was a double up Cylon Raider, I'd be content. I mean, obviously, you add the Cylon head to it, but I mean, if you ever do a BSG fan film in the audience, use this as a baseline for a double winged Cylon Raider. It would be perfect. I mean, I also wouldn't change it almost at all.
There wouldn't be much change needed at all.
Just add the Cylon head. That's it.
Yeah. So John Eves was hanging out with Eric Chu a little too much.
Yes.
They're kind of buddy all the time at Wonderfest. They kind of make fun of each other. So
it's crazy when you both designed icons. What a feeling. Crazy.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, I said this to you yesterday, Stuart, is that it isn't just what you're seeing here, it's what you're not seeing here. Because if this was approved, then this had the most intentionality behind what it's trying to tease the audience. If the instruction was, we want to link to the brain bugs from season 1 of TNG, that would have to make it into this design for it to be a story plot. The fact that that does not be evoked by the pincer, or the lack thereof, that tells you that that's not the connection, because there is no visual tie-in there. The fact that it's not green tells you it's not Romulan. Oh, it would be green. So that's another... It doesn't matter about the final version. It's not green. The green glows is here or there. They could be whatever. Black, it might have been Riemann. So it kind of tells you it's not Riemann. At least from context clues of that. And it's not black, so no Batman.
What did you say? Not Riemann based on what?
In fact, it's not that scimitar colour.
Oh, like the grey.
Yeah, because if it was, then that'd be a visual clue that it's Riemann.
Yeah. But are we convinced of the coloring of it in the show? Because is the nebula maybe altering the color somewhat? Because it kind of has that orangey, kind of almost Cardassian vibe to it.
No, but I mean, if this version isn't black or green or the scimitar colour, then that's not... You didn't get approved with that visual tie-in.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I mean. So it's not those things, obviously. It's something different, because that's not... Those would be things you would do, etc. It doesn't really link to anything, honestly. If you look at it in the Trek world, I don't really see any direct connection to any ships. Direct one-to-one. No, like, oh, it must be this race or that race.
Wesley Equation says, deflector on it reminds me of the Galaxy class, but orange. Do you want to field this one, or do you want me to?
Give me 1 second.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk about it. A lot of people have made that similarity that it looks like the secondary hull of the Galaxy class. It's not. I mean, it invokes that idea with the shape, but it people are even calling out that it is a Galaxy class secondary hull and it's some kind of connection, some kind of tie-in. It's like, no, it's not. And the internal bit doesn't look anything like the Enterprise D's deflector. It looks more like the Enterprise E's deflector, if anything, kind of that yellow.
Of course, we have a shot as well, which is a concept shot. That was I scoured for this, Stuart, as you can imagine. So none of these are exclusives. I was careful. This is Doug. One of them posted this. I believe it was Doug, actually. This is John Eves' weapons firing sequence concept art.
Oh.
Which does show the deflector, which is why I'm showing it. And this version was clearly using Doug's test version, because it now has the pincers of the final. So that I'm just throwing out there because...
And yeah, just to go back to the weekly equation comment about the deflector. It's not a deflector, first of all. I'm assuming that is the mysterious unknown tech that was loaded into their primary bay that was referenced when they were going through the list of all the weapons on it. I have a feeling that's a weapon, not a deflector, first of all. But yeah, I mean, I can get why people are saying that it looks like an Enterprise D deflector, but it's not meant to. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, to me, obviously, yes, to a certain extent, but if anything, to me, it's trying to link back to a if you can picture the Tom Cruise film with the aliens who attacked Earth on the end of their, the top of the there's a
War of the Worlds.
Well, yeah, War of the Worlds. There's those top laser beam things that kind of shoot the classic visual. That's to me is what it's evoking. The green laser pod that's sticking out the ship. That's what I'm seeing, if any, visual cue. Just saying. Yeah. And I don't think, because we were debating yesterday where if there was a Thaleron charge or the wings would move, this to me, there's a light that's creating the green on the pincers, but there's nothing happening to change the configuration. I think that's probably going to be how we see it. Obviously, at the bottom it says Shrike Weapon Sequence Episode number 301, which doesn't tell me anything because it's not episode 1. No, it is the end of 1. It's because they don't do anything.
Or maybe it's episode 3. Because it's very likely going to fire at the Titan in the next episode, which is episode 3.
Yes. It does appear for a few seconds at end of 1. But, I mean, you know, big ass gun, shove it on the bottom, easy. It's a thing that's caused a dimensional shift. Hey, a deflector can do that. That makes sense.
You know what's great though? We have 177 people here. Awesome numbers. Thank you so much for joining us. We do like talking ships. That's what we're talking about. So we want you guys to put in your thoughts about the ships from season 3. Anything you want to talk about, super chat in. We could use some more super chats to kind of show some support. We'd really appreciate that. And 186 likes currently. Let's try to get that up to 200. So if you guys can help us out by hitting like or by super chatting, we would really appreciate that. And keep in mind, we do read all the super chats on the air. We do want to address your concerns and your questions, and we want to have conversations based on what you guys want to talk about. So whatever you put in a super chat, we kind of have to talk about. So if you have anything like the deflector, the shape of it, anything like that, throw it in a super chat and we'll discuss it.
And we're down to the last half an hour, and we're not even close to where we want to be. So throw some stuff in. Say hello.
Is that a ship thrower emitter? No, I don't think the deflector, the tractor beam thing came out of there, did it?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh, it did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Very distinctly.
Okay.
Which is like, does everything then. Now, obviously, when it finally made its way into the CG realm, this is how it turned out with the 3 or 4 tone colours. The green, the orange, and the red, or the greeny yellow, which is a pretty unusual paint scheme. And yes, you can see the bottom view has a clear, and I'll zoom in for posterity. The pod and the pincers, and luckily they're quite high resolution, so I can zoom all the way in, which is kind of almost like a cheat code. That if this is how it made into final, this is actually, you know, here's the pod. Before it even comes out, but it was released, so it's come out. Scarab ship, yes, certainly more scarabby.
Yeah, it looks nothing like a Galaxy class deflector or a secondary hull there. Matt Boardman though throws in $5 in industry speak. 301 means season 3, episode 1. So perhaps there was an initial draft of this episode where the Shrike did fire on the Titan. Possibly.
Or maybe even we revealed that it shot the weapon against Raffi. This is location in 1.
Ooh.
Maybe its introduction was in a cloud sequence where it fired. I mean, a bit of a giveaway, but that's okay. But yeah, so here is the emitter itself. For some reason, what I see is I see the life form that attach itself to the Enterprise D's neck.
Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking too. Galaxy's Child, I think it's called.
Similar. I mean, it's not. That's ridiculous.
But it's like a little mini baby doomsday machine. It's almost what it looks like too.
Oh, that's yeah.
It's so cute. It can barely destroy an asteroid. Oh.
Haven't taught Degra. They'll soon grow up.
Yeah. Pod looks like a shark egg. Yes. Absolutely like a shark egg. That shape. Crazy Ghost Hunters though throws in $5.
Thank you.
Is that ship the same size as the Nemesis ship? Is it the same size as the
much smaller?
Scimitar?
Much. Scimitar's big.
Scimitar's a huge ship.
Yeah. But speaking of huge ship, this ship had huge alternates. We've got 3 here today to look at, which we'll look at again. This is what we're live. This is one version, which to me, obviously everything looks like everything, right? We'll take that out of the equation. This to me is a Vorlon ship from Babylon 5, almost exactly. And I can't imagine he wasn't inspired by that because it's so close. It's kind of unreal. And I do like it, but it's clearly not. It's not remotely what we see in the show.
Oh wow.
Yep.
It's a very first iterative step. I mean, they kept the pointy spikes going forward.
Yep. Points were very important. They left them pointed comments in their log. You know, more points. Yes.
And this is interesting too because a lot of people are pointing out the similarities between the front pincers of this and the conspiracy bugs, and it's like, it obviously wasn't part of the initial design concept notes because nothing is reflected like that here.
Nope.
So, I mean, this has much more of an organic shape than the final one that we see. This seems more lifelike and like a life form, but not really conspiracy bug-ish at all.
Yeah. Because, like I say, obviously they were given a brief. If they were meant to link to that ship, this is that race that is not at all here. But organic feeling, very very small internal volume. Again, too basic, not very Star Trek. I mean, obviously, it's almost unfair to look at non-approved concepts because it was not approved for a reason or more. You know.
But that being said, it was also designed based on a brief.
Well, yes. Yeah.
So they were going for a certain look and style.
Yes.
So it kind of can lead to clues as to what the...
Yes.
You know. Yeah.
But I would not say it fits particularly well.
No. It seems very alien, for sure.
Yes.
Like you said, it's not a Star Trek design, but if it's not maybe not meant to be, it would be something that looks completely unique and alien. It works, right? So, actually, this kind of gives me a Species 8472 vibe, a little bit. But yeah.
And then also we've got this design, which is, I mean, entirely different again. Very Borg. I don't know what the vibe was here. Clearly, it's showing off the weapon more. That's what I'm getting from this. That, you know, look, we have a big gun. See the gun. But I mean, you would definitely say Borg if you were, you know, if you were there. I would think.
Borg. Again, this feels very Species 8472-ish, kind of organic styled ship. But yeah, definitely highlighting that weapon area, which they've toned down because I mean my main focus is that the quantum tunneling tech that they've been talking about that was stolen could be, but I love how it's described because they go through all the weapons on the ship and then they say something in the primary bay, tech unknown, which we'd assume is that bay on the bottom. And is it the quantum tunneling tech or is it something different? Who knows? But yeah, this feels very well. What makes it feel Borg though is the color, color and the green like almost like veins throughout.
Well, it's also because it looks techy. I can see the additional stuff that's been added to the ship.
Yeah,
click sort of assembly. I mean, it's more random than a Borg ship, but
yes,
but as if it was, you know, obviously there are XBs and there are the new collective. Either would be fine for this, and it kind of feels like I think you'll know what I'm saying here. It feels like if there was a ship in Armada 2, which was an 8472 hero ship that was assimilated.
Yeah.
Like as a you know, last level bonus hero villain. Boom.
Yep.
This.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right with that.
Thank you.
Matt Boardman, though, $10. Thank you so much.
Matt Boardman.
The ship is actually alive and is the next generation of the Tin Man ship race.
No.
After combining with Tam, we find out that the crew of the Shrike is actually symbiotic. You heard it here first, folks. They're like little parasites inside the ship that, you know, are needed for its life.
I mean, that would be a hell of a twist, Tin Man. To be
what a reveal. What did
I mean, what was Tin Man's real name?
Damn. Wasn't it?
No.
Or was that the guy that went aboard?
That was the guy.
Oh, Gumtooth.
I'll say Grogu, but you're right, Gumtooth.
Oh, it's Gumtooth, yeah.
Gumtorogu. There you go. Stuart, spoilers. Is Grogu in episode 1 of Mandalorian season 3?
Yes.
Damn it, Stuart. Oh, the spoiler.
Tune in tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to find out my first reaction to first episode of season 3 of Mandalorian. You know you want to.
I think they do want to, if I'm going to be honest.
They better.
or else.
Or else. No, I know a Mandalorian bounty hunter.
Well, and a Shrike piloted other one we know too.
It's 'tis the season for bounty hunters. Apparently.
Yes, but I do like its design, but not for anything to do with this ship. This other one is entirely different again, and this is Romulan.
100%.
I mean, you talk about the 3 ships. Every one of these ships has an entirely different brief, apart from a bit of pointy. There's nothing connective here at all. It's amazing.
Well, I mean, I just had a revelation with the last one we were looking at. It almost looks like a probe that would have been launched from V'ger.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, but this one, yes, clearly this is Romulan Tal Shiar undercover.
It's a
stealth
Shrike ship, which sounds Romulan. Yes,
a Shrike ship. There you go. Say that 5 times fast. Shrike ship.
By the Shrike Shrikelar, Tal Shiar but Shrike, because they got destroyed, so it's a Shrikelar. What do you guys think? I mean, it's nice. Yeah. I actually quite like it for Romulan ship. Very small. I would have it be a fighter, like a 2-person, 3-person fighter for me.
Yeah, the design definitely says that. It feels so Romulan, even just the coloring of it.
But also like a fresh Romulan.
Yes.
Which I actually quite like, and that's kind of hard to do. And kind of fit. I mean, I like that you can see clearly there are disruptors on the wing tips, but also in recessed bits.
You can see clearly now, disruptors there.
Yes, there are pew-pews visible.
On the wing tips and everywhere.
Oh. I felt another a super chat. I don't know what does. But speaking of super...
Chats.
At the... Well, almost. At the Star Trek cruise... they had a miniature, and obviously by miniature it almost seems disingenuous, a giant film miniature sized Titan A, which was made, put on display, and then the guys that made it then posted images so we can look at them as well. Now this was obviously built off Doug's model, so any tweaks that were made after are not reflected necessarily, but out of the CGI world into the miniature world, take a look guys, what do you think?
Very, very refit like. God damn.
Because you are a miniature man, so you must see this in a whole new way.
The ladies say I'm a rather large man. I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
I think she's obligated to say it though because you married her.
Well, no, the other ladies say it too. The ones that came before her. You be quiet, you. Anyway. I thought Bill made this model at first because it makes sense to have Bill, make the model. So I don't know who actually built this. Did you find out who built it?
Oh, I mean,
specifically, no.
I can reverse Google image. I did not save who did that, but anyone can reverse Google search and find it.
Colin Summers says, "Do not sing, please." Well, super chat in, and I will not sing again.
Wow. God, you're so rarely asked not to do stuff.
I know.
I mean, yeah, it's a refit era design.
Yep, very clearly. I mean, the fact that they scaled this up to be larger and just disregarded the size of the windows on the saucer bothered me so much.
You know what the giant irony is when you put into a miniature feel where the lighting is obviously real and it's a miniature. Though I could even buy those nacelles as being in between B and C. A bit of a stretch, but it's like, okay, it's refit nacelles with the Basard and warp glows. It's like, okay, I could about see that. As like prototype nacelles in between.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
the lighting's a little bit blown out on this, I think.
Mm-hmm. Then we swap angles to a even more blown out one.
Yeah, that's the problem with models. If you have the lighting too bright, it does not work. You need to tone the lighting down and to scale the model.
Yes.
A lot of people don't do that.
But miniatures always look more real than CGI, Stuart. They're really easy to get wrong.
They can be. Yeah, well, exactly. So CGI though. CGI is also very easy to get wrong. Just watch any Asylum movie.
Super easy. Barely an effort. Yeah. Oh, it's funny. One of the Star Trek fan films I worked on did do miniature shoot, and unlike CG, you can re-render. One of the miniature shots, they didn't set focus properly, so the whole shot's out of focus.
Oh.
And it's like, well, what do? It's out of focus and it's poorly lit.
Yeah.
You can't really. That shot's lost.
Yeah.
You know.
CJ O'Neill throws in $10.
Thank you.
And says Ablan Works Limited built that model.
Excellent. And it is great. I mean, it looks exactly like the ship. Like it's wonderful how well it translates.
Yes, Bill, it is quite a big model. Yes, it is. Still a miniature though.
Yeah. I mean, anything lower than 1:1 is a miniature, Stuart. Sort of by definition.
The TOS Enterprise that's in the Smithsonian, it's a miniature. It's still goddamn huge. It's only like 6 feet long. So,
and I believe there were a couple of model shots done for Interstellar, and they were giant because they had to they'd build the ring that was part of the ship attached, and it was like 1/10 scale, but it's still a miniature, even though it took up like an entire soundstage because it was still a miniature.
Yeah. And Bill is here from Trekyards, and he says one 650 scale built by John Eblin.
1/650. So 1/350 is the norm.
Well, no, 1/350
for the old
is
stuff.
what they call God's scale.
Okay.
1/350 is pretty standard for like warships and stuff.
Because when you get too big, and that's going to be less and less practical, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you did an Enterprise D in 1/350 scale, it'd be like over 7 feet tall or whatever, long. Quite substantial.
And the irony being is that the D, especially, there's so few physical details that there's just like lots of plain hull.
Yeah.
Because it was built for that sort of format. It's actually a very beautifully smooth hull.
I mean, one of the most common scales for starships is 1/1000 scale, which is what a lot of Polar Lights kits are, which is a manageable size for most ships. So 650 is still a pretty big scale, but
this shot, I think it looks really good flying camera. It's got such a because those sorts of obviously strut curve.
That shot with the secondary hull and that strut curve remind me a lot of Andy Probert, so Enterprise C.
Yeah, for sure.
It's got that same feel to it, so.
Because that is what makes it feel very futuristic. Because that you would not have that curve in the refit era. It's too much. Just a bit too much. Same in secondary hull is just too smoothly, oddly. That's what helps it feel like a next gen, old gen. Yeah.
And Bill has also pointed out that cell phones do not take great model photos.
No,
when Bill photographs his, I know he's got like a super fancy camera and got a cool setup. So
his setup is astounding.
Yes.
I mean that's. And speaking of, the shot we enjoy from the episode 1 of the Titan A leaving the space dock. Still love that lighting. It's clean. It's nice.
Wenlock, though, throws in £5.
There you go.
Says this fits with SCO's excuse for the 25th century refits of the disco ships. We found a bunch of old useful designs and built them with today's tech. Yeah, absolutely.
That was a thing they did. But no, what's funny compared to the miniature is obviously you can't have. It's impractical to have the amount of self-illumination a CG model can have. I believe one of the artists said there's like 150, 200 spotlights.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be insane to do, and I don't know if you can replicate all the fall-offs. Not without trickery, because you can't necessarily have a light far enough away from the hull to reflect back, but you can in CG because.
What's this? What's the length of the Titan A? Do you remember? It's 560
Well, Bill
meters.
does know. I did write it down, as you can
I
imagine.
think it's 560 meters. So what is that compared to the TOS Connie? How long is the
That's
Connie?
289.
So it's like double the size of the Connie. Because Bill Barkley is asking me, is the model as big as my 1/350 Connie with lights and sounds? At 1/650 scale, it's probably about the same size as my Connie, yes. Because it's like double the length in universe.
I have done an accurate.
I'm not good with scaling numbers. I'm really bad at it actually. But I assume it would be roughly the same size as my 350 Connie.
I have done I can't show it, but I have done a scale shot. Let me see if I can find
34
it.
inches long, says Bill. Bill is a genius at all things models and scales. So there you go. 34 inches long. That is the same length as my 350 scale TOS Enterprise. So yes.
Okay, so I've got it compared to the Enterprise E. It is almost the entire length of the Enterprise E. If you put them next to each other, if you think of the E, it has that little cut in the side of the saucer. The saucer goes right up to the end of that, and then you've got the last bit of the saucer to go. So it's almost the entire length of the E.
I don't know if I buy that from the Titan A though.
I mean, I know the scales. That is.
I know you do. 100%. Yeah. I know. But I'm saying with the window scaling of it being the same
giant
as
windows.
The
We know they're
That's
giant
a stupid
windows.
Answer. Just fix the scaling of the windows, guys. On the rim of the saucer. It's not that difficult.
Yes, it would be scary to put a person next to the windows, because the windows might be like
I haven't.
like think about an aquarium, the giant windows, the circle ones up for a shark. That's the sort of window you're looking at.
I'm sure. Like I haven't talked to Bill Krause in person about this, but I'm sure he's really frustrated with that because it works on the Shangri-La
beautifully
with that scale. But to upsize that, it's the same with the JJ Prize. Let's just make it bigger. Not care about the window scaling. Let's frustrate the shit out of Bill.
Which is funny because then Shaw has tiny portholes in his deck on his quarters. There's no windows on a ship that size. Every window is bigger. None of them.
Well, they're so small you can't see them from the outside.
Shut up.
They're just like pinpricks.
It's not. Nope. But that'd be kind of fun to put a person next to a window, because that would be interesting.
I'd like to see that. I've got little photo etched people in the windows of my 350 Enterprise.
Beautiful.
You can see them, and they're scaled perfectly. So yeah, I'd like to see a scaled correctly person put in that window. I want to see a close up of Captain Shaw's face and pan out from one of those windows on the saucer, and just see how big that fucking window is, because it would be huge, huge.
Yep. But Stuart, we only have the Helios left, so I think we're in we've done that. We've done our video on that, so we've said our things. But I'll jump back to John's Helios concept art, which is obviously John designed it back in the day and then retweaked it for this show. Put your thoughts in, guys, as we get to our final super chat slot. With a few minutes left, at least another 40 will be phenomenal.
Yes.
And any members would be cool too. Oh, the poll, of course, I'll finish out as well. With 168 votes. What do you think of the Shrike? 51% like it. Pretty good. 16% love it. 23% meh. And only 10% don't like it, which I think is another strong margin for them.
Yes, guys. So hit that like button if you haven't done so already. I think we can probably get to 230 likes. So please, if you have not done that, please do so. And yes, a couple super chats in at the end would be amazing. Just to kind of end out on a big bang. Plus, we want to get the last super chat word from one of you guys. What do you guys want to say in a super chat? And maybe it'll be the last one, and I'll read it twice. So just kind of hit your point home, your question, whatever. And we have that last super chat slot. So if you want to snipe war like $1, a lot of people do that, for the last super chat slot. Let's see who wins. Who wants that position?
And I've looked at a much larger stream of ships based on, we had 4 poll results originally. Which would you guys say is your favourite of the set? Let us know.
Okay, this concept of the Helios here, it has like the side wings, which is very Johnny's, by the way. So the final version doesn't have those. does it?
Yes.
It does?
Mhm.
Okay. Because I know the computer like overlay of the ship from the top, I think has them. It looks different,
Yeah, don't look at that. That was the old model.
but it looks cool.
Uh, if you've
Wow.
if you've seen it, it doesn't look good.
CJ O'Neill, just $100 super chat. Bang. Big bang.
It's
he says.
just big bada bing, bada boom, bada bang.
Big bada boom. That is wow. He just won the last super chat, even though crazy Ghost Hunter snipes in with $1 or $5 and says, is it a personal owned ship?
Yes.
Yes.
But CJ, yes, you've fifth elemented all over us. You've Lilu'd us in the face. You've Corbin Dallas us from behind. You've
Azim lighted us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mariposan, is that what they're called? God, if I remember. No, that's this. Damn it, that's this craft. It's a Mariposan. Because I had a word in my brain. Damn it. But yeah, there is.
Resorctus.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. Zorctus all over. But no, because you can tell it still the fins existed because the Cecilios and the Mariposan, the symbol of the butterfly was on the wings. That's where you see it, or don't see it, as the case may be.
Oh, okay.
In the episode. And it's funny because
I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that tie-in with season 2.
Nope.
The Mariposa thing.
Yep. Because it all makes it predestination. Otherwise, this is an alternate universe where that's now a thing. Because it's not really how you do that. Really, it's not really how that works normally. Because Teresa did not make that without Rios. Because having a man like that in your life really changes your life direction. So yeah. Interestingly, that Doug maintained the escape pods from John. John included them, although they're entirely recessed. Doug had them a little bit more extruding. Doug put in phaser strips, and the VFX team removed them all. So,
and yes, Sergeant Montgomery, yes, she had the Mariposa clinic in season 2, but that wouldn't have gone on to be the Mariposa medical thing that they created later.
Massive charity, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's odd because I'm looking at the two ships, because the two concept arts, and the original version had a nice sleek middle hull. It's almost the exact same. And then John made it a big square because that's what the set was, a big square. Which is an alternate styling that's like, why is there just a square?
See, that's the thing. The round one, the second one there, seems more Starfleet, and the other one seems more like a civilian version of the same design with the square.
But he didn't change it very much.
No.
And then Doug did it. I mean, Doug replicated it faithfully. I mean, unlike the VFX teams of season 1 and Discovery, they just changed the people's design. I mean, that's exactly what it became. Even so much, it's got the random mid-Bassard strips that exist.
I mean, Doug should have put like angled struts on it, even though it was approved to not have those.
Yep.
He could have like curved the struts, done a whole bunch of funky things just because he wanted to.
He could have referenced the Farragut. Could have had him go.
Oh, that's awful. I hate that design. But anyway, Helios is a cool design, and I love that Dave included the like TNG, like the earlier version. That is such a nice callback.
That's something I should bring up as well.
Yeah, some kind of like the evolution of the design.
The devolution.
Well, yeah, because they lost escape pods and phaser strips. And
well, I mean, just younger, but yeah, you're right. I guess the evolution by
taking things off.
Yes.
And upgrading the nacelles.
So yeah, this of course we're referring to the TNG version, which is this one, which is actually too big for the frame. Let's just do.
Oh, we missed a joke with CJ O'Neill's super chat.
Oh,
he multi-passed everybody. Get it past them.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
Good.
It's a good tea even. There might be a nice house nearby.
But so far, honestly, Crazy Ghost Hunters has that last super chat slot, even though CJ O'Neill did the big bang.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to super chat,
yes,
to beat Crazy Ghost Hunters, that's a chance.
But yes, this was the Dave released TNG version, to wit has different nacelles. Well, the labels are there. Escape pod, phaser strips, Passage collectors, the red things, you know, from all of the
phaser emitter, spelt wrong.
Yeah.
I had to point that out. I'm sorry.
Trek does it sometimes, you know.
It bothers me.
It's like how the Prometheus had 2 registries. One was a 5, one was a 7, and it's like, but
really?
Yeah, the exterior of the ship in most of the bottle is a 7.6 something, and all the graphics inside say 5.4 something.
Oh my god!
And you see them both in this show, like they're both in canon. They're both the canon number. So, yeah, they just didn't talk to each other. So, yeah, that means stuff happens.
Yeah, we have a video coming out about this, which compares this one to the one we see in the actual show, and it's funny that the differences are quite interesting. This be like the new version of it, like it was brand new kind of thing. So
yeah, the factory sealed, you know, the saran wrap came off, it launched versus the it's a bit trashed.
Still has that new starship smell.
Yes,
like I say.
Yes, which you did say. And this is fun because this is a launch 2352, and yes, I will. We did those the research in an episode, and that is 3 years pre Stargazer. The other Stargazer,
Constellation
Star. So it's real freaking old. It's pre-runabout. Don't know how the ships around that era to talk about because there's all pre-TNG, but it's early.
This was launched pre-original Stargazer?
No, it was launched before we know it was lost. Like the end of the Stargazer. Because that's the only date we know is the loss of the Stargazer.
Yeah. Because that design aesthetic does not match that. So.
No. Yeah. So it's around that Battle of Maxia, because then we know as an audience, okay, there's TNG Season 1 costumes and comm badges. That's where we are.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, hey, maybe this thing still utilized Wrath of Khan uniforms, because, you know, often ships don't upgrade quick enough.
Well, it could be Jack Crusher. He had the Monster Maroon, but with like the TNG comm badge. Yeah. I'd say that would be fine for this era.
Because that uniform stayed for a very long time.
Yes. It got uglier and uglier.
Yes.
Just take things away from it. And it's like, stop doing that. That's perfect. Eric Martin, though, throws in $5 looking for that last snipe, Shrike, boom, as he says. It's not only a snipe, but it's a Shrike. Awesome. Thank you so much, Eric. CJ O'Neill still gets like super chat VIP status, but you know, Eric Martin has that last slot. So,
and Richard says, cool ship, the Fortuna's warp nacelles lead to the Intrepid class nacelles design. Well, the Intrepid is just the Galaxy squished.
Yeah, kind of.
Like the lineage.
Yeah.
This is more Nova. I mean,
Nova. We've talked about it so much, and it's ironic. It's on my desk.
It's great. That's good.
I always switch out the ship that's on my desk every like couple weeks.
And the escape pods must be really small. Yes, but also it's a small craft. I mean, we've seen the Delta Fly's escape pods. It's a torpedo tube basically. You know, it's just to get you off the ship.
Yeah.
I mean, there might even be a case where you're sitting down. It's a little tiny box. I mean, it might just be like a hold here, you know.
Well, the one that Barnes Frex got in Prodigy.
Oh God, yeah. There we go. Yeah, tiny.
So yeah. Looks like an upgraded NX01 or NX1. I know. The warp governor in the middle.
That's what that does. Yeah.
Is what. Yeah, it gives it that NX look.
Although I honestly wouldn't be against that thing going up and being torpedo pod and making a tactical version. It would ruin line of sight, but
yeah, you know how I feel about line of sight.
You have feelings.
I do. And they're
Emma,
quite strong.
I am comfortable with this being an NYC era design.
I'd say at the end of that era.
Yeah, it's definitely it's pre-D, post-C. Yes.
Yes.
But it's also a mission
kind of
profile.
just after that lost era.
But you wouldn't design a cargo / personnel transport / medical ship / fast response ship like a heavy to be the same as a heavy cruiser exploratory ship. So and I don't want to spoil our video too much because we made some great deductions, but we even worked out why the ship is probably as flat as it is, which was a fun revelation.
And the nacelles look SS Raven. Yes, they do. They look very much like the Raven nacelles. Good call. Good call, Trekyards.
It's around the same time, and that was an SS. Yep. So, because we know that was a bit later. But if that was that's where the SS came from. But funny if that was a civilian from earlier in the generation, and then this in a similar vein took that. Yes. Can we get $1 more? I mean, it's just the Spurgeon in me says $1 would round up that number. That's unnecessary. Yeah. It's just a bit fun. It was like, that's a $1,
$1? Looking for $1?
Yes, but
hit that like button. We're still 2 likes away from 130. 2 likes. Come on, guys.
2 likes. That seems easy. So you're doing your live. What's our live schedule for the next couple of days, Stuart?
Oh my God, you're making me think. All right, tonight at 10 p.m. Mandalorian season 3, episode 1.
Are you sure that's not?
Because it looked like it froze.
You're fine. And are you sure that's not Boba Fett season 2, episode 1? To counterbalance.
Sure it's Mandalorian season 3. And then you be quiet, you. Mandalorian season 3, episode 1. First reaction tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow we have my first reaction at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time of Picard season 3, episode 3. It's a lot of 3s. And even Mandalorian season 3. Holy shit, there's a lot of 3s going on. So join me for that at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Friday, of course, at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or actually, we might do it at 3. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do it early. Probably be a 3-hour long one, which is probably going to be a lot to talk about. So 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for that, our live review and breakdown of the whole episode. So there you go.
Yeah, we're quite excited because, like I said, we're hearing things. There might be things, so we want to be ready to talk about things. So we're going to go a little bit early to talk about things.
Yep. CJ O'Neill, though, wants that last super chat slot, so he throws in $2. It says, good night, Trekyards family. Yes.
Very valued member.
Prosper. Good night, all Trekyardians everywhere.
Yes. And Emma says...
don't go to bed yet, because you got to join me for the live.
That's true. Stay up. No sleeping. Emma says, those nacelles are great. Balanced, symmetrical, not too busy. Very nice design. Cool.
Absolutely.
Tune in. And I will see you nice and early tomorrow, Stuart, to do our many, many things.
Yep.
And this is, and if we'd got the screeners, Stuart, I'd just be saying to you, see you tomorrow. And as soon as we cut, I'd say, when this, and this happens, you'll be like, yep. And I'll say, yep.
But right now, it's a mystery, and it's fun.
It's exciting. All right. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Join him later. Join us on Friday. Until then, he is the one, the only Captain Stuart Foley.
I am. And he is the incredible Commander Calkins. So we'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.